and welcome to Metaphysical Happy Hour. I am your host, Cassie Clayton.
I'm your co-host, Tracey Escobar. How are you, Cassie?
Doing good. This week has actually gone fairly smooth. How about yours?
Yeah. Yes. I'm back on my game. I feel good today. I can't wait. We have a great show with one of our dear friends, so that's always fun. Yes.
Absolutely.
Tonight.
So tonight we have Michelle Henderson coming back to join us, and what's awesome about her is she kind of helped us get this show started. So it's always super fun to have her back. So with that being said, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. I am so excited to be back with you guys.
Yay. What people may not realize is like Michelle and Cassie started this podcast together, and I just dropped in.
And absolutely. And you know what? Y'all have been doing tremendous. I love watching y'all. And I watch you each week as well.
Do you
and
really?
You have the rhythm now. You know, you got it going.
We gotta feel. So
that's
right. Good. Just to our listeners, Michelle's a dear friend of ours, and so we know her personally. And so it's always nice to have you on. And I was talking to her before the show. I love having another psychic medium on because I know what I'm talking about. So this is going to be a great show and easy. So I want to set the stage before we even get started interviewing. If you want a reading at the end, go ahead and leave us a comment and then we'll get to you. And so I have a list. We'll write them as they come and we'll get to as many people as we can. Myself, I'm going to do cards. I believe we're all going to do cards. Michelle, you have a deck of cards you're going to use?
Okay. I do.
All right. So we'll pull cards for you guys at the end. But if you have any questions around psychic, mediumship, development, any of that kind of thing, go ahead and put comments and then we'll read the comments throughout the show. But we're going to kick off. We're going to start it. And I'm going to ask Michelle the famous question. Oh, were you born with it?
What? Just like, absolutely. Yes. And, you know, Tracey, you being my mentor, you know this better than anyone. So, yes. And I believe that we are all born with it. And I think what happens is society gets in the way and we get shut up. You know, we shut it off for some reason. So, yes, I think we are all born with it. And these kids that are coming into the world, they are so close and they can communicate with spirit so well that it's just, I'm in awe with it. Of course, I waited till I was 50 to come out of the closet as a psychic medium.
Yes.
Yes. But like we all do, I used it in my daily life, even though people didn't know.
Did you know as a kid? Did you have experiences as a child?
I did. Now, I wasn't really talking to spirit, but I could feel that energy around me.
Okay.
And I did not know what it was. And, you know, I could, whenever a loved one did come and visit, I didn't exactly know what it was. It wasn't like we were talking, but I could feel them and I knew who it was. There are some kids, you know, that can see the apparition. I didn't see them, but I could feel them.
You could feel them.
And I was very empathetic. And so that's, you know, of course, another characteristic. I'd go to school and I would be worn out when I got home because I could feel everybody's energy. I could feel how they were feeling. And I was emotional wreck. I cried all the time. Y'all are shaking your heads. Did y'all do as well?
Yeah, I always thought I was different. Like I couldn't even pinpoint. I just felt different. And I couldn't even pinpoint why. Yeah.
Yes. And that's true.
Yeah, same kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And I know you're specialized in children now. We're going to kind of get into that. But before we talk about your book, because she's an author now, I can't wait to talk about that. I want to know kind of like just for our listeners, because, you know, like you said, I think everybody has an ability, but people are so on the edge. What made you decide to take this journey, like to start development? Let's go back to the beginning. Like, did you just wake up one day and say, I'm going to take a class? Like, how does this start?
Okay. So, living in Abilene, which is the Bible Belt of Texas, no one would understand it. And I felt all alone. And so I just shut it off. And again, I would use it without anyone knowing. But whenever in my 20s, I really started having visitations from spirit. They would knock on my door, basically, and they would get so strong. And I'm going, okay, I'm hearing voices. I'm either going crazy or this is more spiritual.
Okay.
And so as I found out, it's more spiritual. So I actually went to my minister at the church, and she told me, she said, you know what? It's not anything evil. It's somebody who is trying to communicate with you. And if you're not ready for it, tell them to go away. And so I did, but they still, my curiosity then kind of, peaked. So then I found a psychic medium in the Dallas-Fort Worth area whenever I was 28, 29, and she walked me through it step by step.
Okay.
And told me, exactly what's going on was normal, that I was not, going crazy. And then, of course, when COVID hit is when I really started thinking, and I started really having that calling that I really needed to do this as a business. And then I reached out with you, Tracey. I found you, and you walked me through it. And I still remember saying, you know what? I hear these voices in my head, and it's my own voice, but I'm not saying these things. And you go, yeah, that's mediumship.
That's what that is.
So I still remember you taking my hand step by step once again, and you saying, you need to be your authentic self. You need to get out there, open that door. So of course I went Facebook Live, and I thought, okay, I'm going to tell everybody I'm coming out of the closet. This is me. And as I'm talking, I thought I was on my business page, and I was not. I was on my personal page.
Oh no.
But you know what? Spirit has a way of getting you out and saying that happened for a reason.
It happened for a reason.
So I just continued, and I had so many people, and you don't realize, and people, if you're out there and you're holding it back, you don't realize how many people will support you and come out and say, that is awesome.
I was going to ask you, was it as bad as you envisioned it to be? Did
No.
you lose all these people like we envisioned we're going to lose?
No.
And people, see?
And the people that really did not communicate with me or kind of thought twice about it and stopped talking to me, we weren't really close anyway. Right. It's more of an acquaintance, and they were, a big factor in my life sometimes, and they really helped me somewhere. But it's kind of like one of those things that you change your interest. As a kid in high school, you have different friends. It's basically the same thing. You find those friends that have the same interest.
Yes.
And I did. I mean, I feel like I'm surrounded by psychic mediums now.
I know. I tell people all the time, 5 years ago, I didn't know one psychic medium. And now on my Facebook, I got thousands of them as friends. Like, right? It's like you just plug in and you just go. And I have like similar story. I think we're so afraid of who we're going to lose, but the people who you're close to, they're just going to love you. My friends, they may not believe, but they accept what I do. Right? And they're still supportive. So, and the ones that went away, I didn't even notice because they weren't
exactly
anyway, right?
Right. And my mother, she won't be watching it. she is actually, she has that psychic mediumship ability, but she is fearful of it.
Yeah.
And, and she's in a different journey. So, but we don't talk about it. She knows what I'm doing, and accepts me who I am. Yeah. And she always asks me, why are you doing this? And so, and I said, well, this is my journey. This is my calling. And she goes, okay. And then we change the subject.
And then we changed. I think my mother was similar when I came out. She really didn't. She was just so scared of it. Didn't want anything to do with it. Really fearful based. And I think just in that generation, there's a lot of fear-based teachings and things like that going on. And now, no, I'm a medium too. I have experiences too. So now she brags about it too. So they come along, right?
Yes.
As you get successful and they see that it's okay, then they'll start peeking in. So like I came out, my sister now has experiences. My mom has experiences. My cousin has experiences. So Michelle, you paved the way and you opened the door for and just watch who else will start walking through it. I think it's just crazy.
Oh, it is. Absolutely. And you're kind of planting those seeds along the way,
Exactly.
And because I think, and I know, like you said, there are tons of psychic mediums out there as friends, and people feel like they're alone. You're not.
Not alone. No. So many of us out there. So many. Yes. So speaking of us, and I know you talked about me as part of your journey, but I love when we have psychic mediums on, because I think development is so important because of ethics and things like that are involved. And so I just want to, and and development and evolution. And so we both have like a similar development journey. So I just kind of want you to explain, what was your development journey? I know I was part of it, but there's some really great teachers that came after. So let's
absolutely. So yeah, and then of course Colby Rebel, you know, she got me out there. She's going, you can do it. So she's a big motivator. And then during COVID, I mean, just right when COVID hit, Lisa Williams offered this wonderful 9-month workshop.
9 months.
9 months. And for spiritual advisor. And that's where I met a lot of people, and we would meet twice a week, you know, for 9 months. And then whenever the restrictions got lifted, we went to Buffalo, New York, Lilydale area, and we all got to meet each other. Yay! And so what I did learn through the whole journey and the workshop is, like you said, the integrity of doing this business. And because and like Lisa Williams always would say, it's like you have somebody's life in your hands, and you've got to be real careful of how you approach people and how you give them those messages, and that it is a light worker business. It is. And there's a lot. And when I tell people, when you go down in a grocery store and you start talking, oh, there's a message coming through, can I talk to you? That is not the correct way to do it. And if you see it on TV, it is staged.
It is staged.
So a lot of people don't realize that.
Right. Have you seen the new Tyler Henry one on Netflix?
Yes.
I think, my own personal opinion, he did a great job with that show.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, I do too. I do too.
He shows when he doesn't get something. He shows when it's wrong, and it's okay to be wrong. Right? I think his first one was more staged, and they edited out a lot of things that made him look perfect. And I just don't think that's what mediumship is. So I have to applaud Tyler on this show, because I think he did a really good job of showing what mediumship really is. And we don't always know it. We don't always get a hit. We don't always have something come through. And if something comes through, we might not always know. On his first show, it made it seem like he always knew the whole story. And on this new show, he'll ask at the end, go ahead now and fill me in. Tell me what all that was about. So I think he did a really good job. So if anybody's ever interested in just what mediumship truly is like, I think he did a good job on that show. And it's called Life After Death on Netflix.
I agree.
I'm giving him a plug, because he did a good job. Not to say that nobody else is good, but like the Teresa Caputo show and all that, again, it's edited, right? So we don't know when she gets it wrong. We don't know when there's moments where she can't connect. So I just think he did a good job. Whitney says she's going to look into it. You should, Whitney.
You absolutely
did a good job.
Anytime, because a lot of people think, oh, if you're a psychic medium, you know everything. And it's like puzzle pieces that you're pulling together and putting together to make a story. And so whenever I have a new client, I always explain, just like what you said. And I like how Tyler really talks about, and that's exactly what it looks like. You don't know, you just bring it, you're the channel, and you just give them that information. It's all in that interpretation.
It is.
And I think if you're a new psychic medium into the business, practice with somebody that that you feel safe. Because that's where you get your confidence.
It is.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
People will train. And I told somebody this the other day. Like, one of the biggest mistakes I think baby mediums will make is they will train until they think that they're perfect. And that never happens.
Oh,
right?
No.
You're so afraid to get out there and put yourself out there because you want it to be perfect. And I just don't think you can ever get perfect without practicing, right? Because you've got to learn what a no feels like. You've got to learn what some of these things, and you've got to build it. So if I had anything to say, it would be just meditation, I think, is key. There's people who don't agree with that, but that's just my feel. I think you got to shut your brain down. But get out there and practice on people. You've got to build your Rolodex. You've got to practice. You've got to. So good. What kind of advice would you give them? The same?
Well, and exactly what you were saying, practice. And, meditation and yoga helped me really be able to work with energy. Yeah. And that's one thing that I tell the kids is that you can work with that energy. When you meditate, you clear that mind. If you have spirit coming in at a time that you are not working and you don't want to talk to spirit, you learn how to get that energy out of your head.
Yep.
And through meditation, you can do that. When you meditate in the beginning, man, you have all these thoughts coming in. Yeah. And I tell everybody, it's like the Avengers. Whenever they disappear and you see that dust, And if you know the Avengers.
Yes.
And so I think about it that way. Think of thoughts coming in your head and that they disappear like that.
Yeah.
Just say, okay, there's a thought, and yes, and you will feel so much better that you can clear your mind, especially during anxiety. You learn how to breathe, and the more you breathe, you can connect better with spirit.
Yes, I agree. Whitney even says, I got to learn how to clear my mind. It's so hard. And it is really hard. And it's a discipline and it's a practice, right? And if you're truly wanting to do this kind of work, you have to be disciplined in it, right? Just like anything else. If you're going to go train for a marathon, you got to be able to train. Same with mediumship and psychic development. You've got to work that muscle and you got to train it. And so I think I agree with you. I think meditation is so important. What people don't realize is that spirit's not sitting here talking in full sentences. They're using your senses, your brain, your everything. And so if your brain is so cloudy, then they can't get in there. They can't. You gotta be able to shut it down, right? You gotta shut
exactly. It down. And I always love to call it Chinese torture. So whenever you're, especially in the beginning, you're trying to connect with spirit, and then your ego gets in the way, and you what happens if I can't connect with them? And then it blocks that communication. And then you don't hear anything and you panic more. So if you can breathe through that and relax, that's when you're going, oh, I can connect and be able to really work with spirit.
And a lot, you all can do it. You just got to want to do it. You got to put the work in. So Michelle, you have a big, so we're going to talk about your book a little bit. I love that you wrote a book, first of all. So
thank you.
Congratulations. I know what a labor of love that can be.
I know, I'm waiting for yours.
Mommy. It's in the editing phase right now. It's being edited as we speak, and she's almost done.
Good.
So man, what a labor of love. So I don't even know where to start. So you have a background in education.
Right.
What made you focus on children? So let's talk about the book. The book is called Spiritual Nurturing for Intuitive Children.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is, it's very interesting. It's like any other calling that you have. I've been in education about a little bit over 30 years. I'm aging myself, working with kids, in different areas. I was a classroom teacher. I worked with kids with autism. I became a behavior analyst. I'm an evaluator. And, God, divine, whoever you worship or yourself, you have made your own journey. And I feel like I did the same thing. Is I had all these expertise, all the specialty working with these kids. And that really helped me look at it from an educator point of view. So whenever it was so interesting, and this is where meditation came in. It's like I knew exactly what needed to be in the book. And it just, spirit gives you these ideas, you channel it, and you, like you said, get an editor to help you organize it even better. And that's how it came to be. And
how long was the process?
I was going to tell you, yes. Oh my goodness, we were thinking the same thing. About 5 months.
That's it.
And that's it. Because
mine's been a year. Oh my God.
Well, now that's not with the editing and so forth. That's with me pulling it together.
Okay, then so it took 5 months to pull it together.
And that took about 3 months after that.
Okay.
Right.
It's about 8 months, and then it went to publishing. Is that where it's at?
Yeah, yes. And I had a marketing team help me put it on Amazon. And and they did the cover and everything.
Oh, I did, yeah.
So it was a fun process. Oh, yeah.
So who is the book geared to? The parents, the children?
I originally, what it's geared for are light workers who are working with these families to help them and have support, because a lot of these families don't know what to do when their child is talking to people that are deceased. And so it really helps that somebody comes in, a third party, and talks to them, give them exercises to really embrace what is going on. But a lot of people that, you think one way and people read it and they're thinking a different way. So I've had a lot of people say parents can actually read it and get a lot of good ideas, because I put in a lot of basic information, that people need to know, from looking from a child point of view, how you would do crystals for a child, how you would do yoga for a child. So a parent can pick up the book and hopefully have tools of the trade that they can use.
And help their kids navigate it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it really depends on the perspective. And there are a lot of exercises that that you can do to increase your abilities. And
Okay.
somebody said, I'm a medium and I'm just starting out. That could help me.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, when I was reading the book, because I bought the book too, and I did notice, okay, it's at the perspective of a light worker and how I would help another family. But I think it's like you said, there's so many parents who don't know where to go, right? So they could just Google children intuitive, and hopefully that pops up and it'll at least give them a guide on at least how to navigate it, because it can be scary. We get parents all the time. My kid's seeing things. What do I do? Right? What would you tell someone? Let's say someone came to you and said, "Look, my kid is seeing things. How, shut it down? Do you nurture it? What do you do?"
I'd say, oh, absolutely nurture it. So I would say, have you had the conversation with your child yet? Because for number one, we need to talk to our kids about it and not to judge what is going on, because they're going to feel that fear from a parent. So the first thing is that conversation. You've got to talk to your child about it and see what is going on. And if the child becomes afraid of it, then they need to know what they can do to control the situation, because they are 100% in control. And I think when they get that fear in there, they don't think they are, but they are absolutely in control. And sometimes I'll have parents will say, well, they keep coming back. And it's like, because you need to really talk to the spirit and say, what do you want? What do you need? Or really set those boundaries.
Yeah.
But one step at a time. But the first thing is conversation with your child.
Yes.
To see how you can help them.
That's what I do. I tell them, embrace it, encourage them, don't let them be afraid, because then they'll shut it down. And then it causes anxiety, and I think just causes other things, right? I'm one of those that wishes they teach meditation in school.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it is different from a kid's point of view, and yoga too. I mean, you don't want to teach yoga to a child the adult way. It is totally different.
Is it totally? Yeah.
It is, yes. So you because there's some poses that will actually hurt a child's growth. And you've got to make it imaginative and creative, or some children will go, oh, heck with this. Because a lot of our kids are actually hyperactive because they're so energetic, and they're, and so if you put the creative vibe on it, then it helps them slow down even. That's why a lot of our kids go into karate, because it's still, working with those movements and working with that energy. And actually, that's a form of meditation.
Is it?
If it's taught the correct way.
Karate teaches you to breathe, right? Yes, it teaches you energy. Yeah, never even thought of that way. That's true.
But yeah, and then these parents also need to find a light worker, and that can be someone, who, if it's not a psychic medium, just somebody who is in the business somewhere and can really walk them through.
Yeah. Have you had people since your books come out reach out to you?
Yes, I have actually.
Interesting.
And the first one that really reached out, and this is so interesting, I just love it how it all works, is it was a teenager from Abilene. And she read that I was born and raised in Abilene. And she said, oh my gosh, I have to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
So we did a discovery call, and we talked, and I gave her some advice. We did some exercises, and that's all she needed. So each child will, because the parents were really embracing it, because the grandparents had the psychic mediumship. They were very strong.
Okay.
And so the mom was very accepting of it.
Oh, good. That always helps.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, so I'm actually offering a workshop for teenagers. I'm going to start with the teens first.
Okay.
Because they don't have to have parents, and to kind of walk a 6-week, just like a developmental circle.
Yeah,
so,
should.
Right.
That's going to be amazing. I was going to ask you if you're going to put together any workshops, right? Why do you think? So, Cassie brought up a question we were talking about before you came on the show.
Right.
Some psychic mediums won't even work with people unless they're 18 and over, right? And you're okay working with them younger. Like that's your thing.
Well, and yes, because absolutely, because you're looking at the very basics.
Okay.
And if you look at the basics and you tell them how to control it, control is the issue, the exercises. Gotcha. That's where they're going to bloom. Okay. Because if they cut it off and then they want to work later, they're going, okay, I don't know what to do. They won't have that conversation. Right. And a 16-year-old can actually work at Grandy's. or I guess
Yes.
Grandy's is out of business.
I don't think Grandy's is around anymore,
but they can work anywhere. So
Chick-fil-A. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. But you also have to think a 16-year-old doesn't have the life experience that sometimes you need as a mediumship. So it really depends on the child. I mean, sometimes there are mature 16-year-olds that are street smart. They've been through a lot. They can handle it. And I feel like spirit, God, divine will give you only what you can handle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you found a need, if I can say that. Like there's a need.
I hope so.
I do. I think you found a need. A lot of people are scared, but I think what the Tyler Henrys of the world and Teresa Caputos of the world have done is, oh, my live just ended. Sorry, I just got distracted. My Facebook live ended. I mean, my TikTok live. But what they've done is they put it out in the forefront. So people are talking about it now, and it's becoming more mainstream a little bit. So I think with that movement and people, more TV shows coming out, there's more of us out here than people even realize there is, right? So I just think that there's a need, and I think you just keep putting yourself out there that you'll get a following, because there's, like, we know a lot of people have experiences as children, and a lot of people get scared, and a lot of people shove it down, right? Then they're like us, comes out later at life.
Yes, right? Exactly. And I think things are changing because, and I keep bringing up COVID, but in the 60s, we had the wars, we had a lot of problems going on nationally. We actually, after all that was over, we had a spiritual awakening. People were going back to spiritual, saying, what do I need to do with my life? I think it happened again after COVID, or I know
I do too.
And I think people are beginning to open up and explore and say, I know there's more to life than what I was busy. This slowed our butts down.
It did. Now there's more. There's more, right?
Yes, exactly.
So, you've, and a lot of people it made them realize that we can work for ourselves, and there's things that we can do for ourselves, and we don't always have to work for somebody else. Right? You think you'll ever get to that point? Well, you'll do it full time, this kind of work?
I do.
We talked about, okay?
I do.
We're both at this crossroads and trying to figure out.
Exactly. And I found a job in education where I'm only working 18 hours a week. So it's part-time. And they keep saying, you want full-time? I'm going, no. But I do. There's another book that I actually am writing on that I need to get out. And so that's another thing I need to work on. And, I've been so busy lately, and I'm going, okay, Spirit, give me the time if you want that out into the world. And I think it's going to happen. And I think it does take time, and you just know when you're ready. And I think it's getting closer. I can feel it.
I was going to ask you if you had another book in you after doing one.
Yes, but it's a nonfiction book. I mean, I'm sorry. It is a fiction book.
Okay.
So it's actually a story that I've been working on for pretty much my life. And so it's kind of come step by step by step. And when you get information in a book, you stop, you start, you stop, and you start sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's almost ready.
I'm so excited for you. I know.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Can't wait for mine to come out. Then we can.
Oh, I can't either. Absolutely.
We're excited.
So when is the date for your book?
So I don't know, because this is my first time writing. So we've gone through the whole writing process. It's in the editing phase. And then once it gets to the editing, I have a publisher. So it's still self-publishing, but I hired a company to do the whole Amazon thing, kind of like you did, right?
Yes.
So depending on the cover's done, everything's done. They just need to format the inside, is what they've told me.
Right.
I'm not sure. Maybe a few more months and then it'll be out. Yeah, I'm not really sure how it all works.
And I'm sure you'll get a launch date so that we know whenever it gets launched out.
Then there's a launch date, and then it all comes out. And so, I'm
exactly. Yeah, my father used to be a writer. And back then, you always had to find a publisher. You typed on a typewriter. But now, I mean, self-publishing is the way to go.
It is.
It takes a lot of work, but you get an advertisement company to help you, right?
Yeah.
And the book going and everything else, and it just falls into place.
It falls into place, yeah. And I even hired a writer because you want to do it right? And I didn't have a writing background, so I even hired a writing coach. I'm like, you got to help me because writing a book is all these thoughts, and you probably have all these thoughts that could probably equal 4 different books, but trying to narrow it down and to get really
absolutely.
was a challenge for me. But yeah, it's coming. But after the first one, then you're like, okay, I could do another one. I think
I was going to say, see that okay, so let's we all heard it, right? That Tracey's going to write a second or third book.
We'll figure it out. I don't know what it's going to be about. I have ideas, and I just think throughout life, spirit gives you these ideas, and it's like, I have this one idea about exit points, and I just want to. That would be a labor of love, because I really want to do research around it, and I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I believe that throughout life, and it's not, people know. So I'm very public about how I'm feeling. So if I'm in a depression, I post about it. I'm just like really public. But it's interesting. I just think throughout my life, there were certain times that I probably should have exited, or came very close to an exit point. And so I just believe that in our life, we have multiple exit points, and whether our soul chooses to go at that time or another time. So I don't know if that's just me that believes that. I don't know what other people believe.
I've heard that before.
Have you? Yeah.
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 Like, I think I just went through an exit point and I survived it, which is good.
Good. Yeah. I went to a psychic medium whenever, again, in my 20s. I guess that's when I started. And she told me I would have 3 exit points.
3. You see, there are exit points.
Yes. And I had, so I was really sick when I was younger. So that was probably my first exit point. And then a really bad car accident. And so I'm waiting for the third one.
Yikes. See, and I'm the same. I've been in some situations that were really scary. Like, someone took me to Mexico. I probably shouldn't have come back from that trip, because I used to live in El Paso. We're really close to the border. And then another time I got stranded at a rest stop on the way to San Antonio with no cell phone service, with a flat tire.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
And that guy came in a tow truck, but it was like at 2 a.m. and he said, "Where do you want me to take you?" I said, "I don't know." So he took me to a garage at 2 a.m. and called in these men to come change my tire, who were all drinking and drunk, and I could have ended up in the desert at that point. Like, so there's another exit point, right?
Right.
And then there's some depression that I've had that I probably, I always think in a past life that maybe, I may have committed suicide. So I think that's a reoccurring theme in this life. So just trying to get past those moments, right? So I don't know. I just think it would be an interesting book. I don't know how it 200 pages, but it's an interesting thought. Right, to see if we have
because not many people talk about it. Cassie, have you had many exit points?
I mean, I can maybe think of a few times where but
like, how am I still here? Sometimes I think, right?
That's absolutely right. Absolutely. And I after the psychic medium told me I'm going exit points too, what does that mean? So I did a little bit of research on that as well.
So watch for my next book on exit points, or I have another idea, life after healing, or on the other side of healing, because how life can be when you just choose to heal, right? You choose to face your demons, and you choose to face yourself. How wonderful life can be. So I'm going to throw that out to everybody. If you're stuck, don't be stuck no more. Move through it. Don't stay stuck in that energy. And with that, it's going to be time to do our reading. So if you want you want us to pull a card, we're going to get ready. Everybody start putting your questions down if you have a question. And while you guys are getting ready, we'll tell you how to find Michelle's book. Cassie, how can people find her book? You want to put that out there? There's a link. Did you write another book before that, Michelle? I went and Googled.
I did, actually.
I saw it on Amazon. Yeah.
So I taught social skills for kids with autism, high functioning autism, and through drama and language and visual. So I had a green screen, and we would do video clips. So I developed a program, and so I thought, might as well put it in a book, right? So yes. That was in 2009. I mean, it's a long time ago.
Yeah, but I saw it. She's an author already. So just so you guys know, I did get the comment. Stacy's mom has got it going on. So I am a psychic, because it happened.
Yes. And I kind of wanted to mention, because we were on the book, because of the comment that you said, that you're like, I don't know how I'm going to fill 200 pages.
Yeah.
There's a woman that I met in my networking, and she actually, like, her whole company, it does like 30, 40 page books.
Just really short
like
ones?
airports, and they put them into like, it's like, maybe you don't want to commit to a huge read, but like, hey, I got some time to kill or whatever. But like, it's just another source.
Yeah, I didn't think
what
about
a
that.
great idea. Oh my gosh.
Itty bitty publishing. Itty bitty.
Stay tuned. Exit points coming to a bookstore near you. All right, so we're going to get ready to do some readings. We have one question, and I want us all to tap in to Whitney's question. Okay. Can you see Whitney's question?
I was just going to say the card that just hopped out of the deck was the Sun card. And that's the thing.
Yay.
Yes, we will pull up Whitney's question.
Tracey, in my last reading, you said, be careful or I'd get pregnant. What are you getting on that now?
Tracey?
I still think be careful because you could be pregnant. So I'll do a pendulum to that one. Whitney, is Whitney gonna have another baby? That's a yes, Whitney. So
and I'm feeling, usually when it's a yes, it's like a happy feeling. So I'm actually feeling a happy vibe there. Okay. I'm also getting that. I don't know if you're okay. I need to say it. I was going, should I say it or not? I don't know if you're trying too hard, but it's like I'm really feeling that you're trying too hard and it will come. Okay. Sometimes when you think too much about it, you won't get pregnant, and people will then adopt somebody, a child, and then they get pregnant. So I think you may be trying too hard is what I'm really getting, but you will.
You will, whether you want to or not. Oh, Lord. All right. Who's next? Anybody else want a reading? And then Cassie put where you guys can get Michelle's book on Amazon. So she put the link up there. Amanda.
Oh, wait, who? Amanda?
Amanda wants to know if she could post a question. So give us a question.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
And then Whitney, I'm going to pull a card for you. Okay. Just because I feel like pulling a card for you. I let go of the shadow of the past by seeing someone for the first time with the eyes of love. So I know Whitney, and I know kind of what she's going through. So Whitney's lost somebody in her life. And so that talks about the past. And I know that you're kind of struggling right now in the current situation. So I say you always got to put you first, and you've always got to look through the lens of love, but for yourself, right? So much time we always look to make sure we're pleasing other people. And I really want you to sit with yourself and just to make sure you're living in a place of happiness and your peace within you. So if I could tell you, it'd be doing some self-reflection and kind of going inward. Like, this is your life that you're setting up. Is it the life that you want? Are you in a good space? Are you happy? Right? So I'm going to leave that with you. Next, anybody else?
You want me to go ahead and do a card for Whitney?
Yeah, do a card.
Okay. Yeah. But I really felt like I've got the card deck. It's Cosmic Dancer. And it's like what you were saying. It's kind of movement whenever you're stuck somewhere. Okay. Be present. Okay. So really be present. Don't think about the past or the future. Just live one day at a time. And really, what Tracey was saying, really think about things. Reflect. Really?
Yep. Yeah. Good job. Okay, who's next?
Okay.
This Brittany has a question.
Yes. Have a question about my career tonight. Do I go for the email or stay on the path?
I have a question about my career tonight. Do I go for the email or stay on my path? Go ahead, Michelle.
I'll dive in. It was very interesting because all of a sudden I got a vision of a path. Okay. So, and what I'm really feeling is that you need to stay on your pathway, because I think That's where you're showing your true self. The email that you got, it's just very interesting. It just kind of feels like it's stagnant. You know what I'm saying? But I think you need to follow your own journey and follow your intuition on it. Okay, Tracey, what do you think?
I pulled a card. My vibes speak louder than my words. So vibes, Brittany, and you know that, right? You know the vibes that are happening currently in the career that you're in aren't very good. So I say follow your path too. But I know that's easier for us to say than not, because it's not always easy to transfer from a career to this kind of path, because we know the finances are involved. But listen to the vibe, listen to the energy, and move away from anything that's negative. Okay, that's what I would say.
And I actually drew 2 cards. So I got the Fool card, which actually in this particular deck, it shows like the person like headed out on their journey, and it's the feeling that you may be having is that other people are judging your journey. But really, I don't feel like at the end of the day, it's you got to do what you feel is right. So even with the other people's judgment coming down on you, you still got to stay true to you. And to give you a little bit of hope there, the second card that I pulled was the Wheel, which is in the upright position. So the Wheel card is usually talking about your wheel of luck. Yeah. And although it can change, I do feel like at the where things are right now, they're in your favor.
There you go. See, good stuff.
One more comment on that, and then I'll and what I did see that pathway, and I'm also seeing if you stick on the pathway on your journey, you're going to have more choices down the road. Things are going to change for you, just like what Cassie was saying with the wheel. So you're going to be able to develop that.
Yes.
There you go. We got Terry Phillips. You want to pull her up?
Yes.
And I'm going to pull 2 cards for Terry just because I know that she's lost someone. So I pulled a card from the James Von Prague deck just to give you a message. Pulling a card, message. And it's really pretty. It's got the color red. And Terry, I've done readings for her. So I think red's a pretty significant color. But it says, I wish I had told you more often just how much I love you. So that's your message today from your loved one. And then I pulled a message for you from my card, messages from above. And it's breathe. It's time to pause, breathe, and connect your mind to your soul.
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go, Terry. Yeah. Who's next?
I'm sorry. I disappeared there for a second.
You're back.
My screen.
Did you go away?
I think so. I went.
Did you go away?
See, spirit is talking, right? Sometimes spirit will get in the. So Terry, you're bringing in your strong vibes.
What you got?
Okay, so, oh my gosh, Archangel Raphael, provider of healing of mind, body, and spirit. So what you need to do whenever you are feeling, at loss and you're feeling depressed and really low, bring in those angels, bring in that light. Try to raise your vibes, raise your energy, and angels can help.
Oh, I love that. Cassie, you got anything?
The card I'm drawing for Terry is Unakite. So Unakite is a very heart-centered. It deals with the heart chakra, and I do feel like you have there's actually a very large network of support around you. But I feel like sometimes you can kind of go into your own space, into your own hole and not reach out. Mm-hmm. So I think that this card is just saying it's okay to rely on your support system.
Oh, I love that. Yay. Let's go to Nancy next.
Yeah.
And then we'll do Kelly. Nancy, then Kelly. Okay, so Nancy, I don't have a question, but whatever spirit wants to tell me. So I pulled 2 cards for Nancy, just because I know she just recently lost somebody as well. So I pulled a card on behalf of your person, and it says, not to worry, I have no more earthly worries. So beautiful card full of sunflowers and sunshine, and just know that they're on the other side, adjusting to their new normal, and then watching out for everybody who's still left behind. So a lot of love to you and your family for everything that you guys are going through right now. But the card for you that I pulled was from my card deck, and it's the Transcend card. And right now you're going through some stuff. You just have to realize sometimes what we think of the end is really just the beginning. So all the doors that are kind of closing is just so they can open up new doors. And I think you know what I'm talking about. But just keep the course, surrender, flow and grow. You know me, my saying, flow and grow. What's happening is happening for you, not to you, right? So good luck with that, Miss Nancy. Who's next?
And the card that I pulled for you is the Ten of Coins, and it really is, so the Ten of Coins can actually be about, it is about abundance, but it's not necessarily about material abundance, and it's also about a windfall. So I feel like you're not quite, like, you're kind of on your way to that.
All right. I love it. All three of us doing it, because you get a little like the puzzle pieces, right?
They're all coming together.
Yes, it is. So Nancy, what I'm really feeling from your energy, girl, right now is you need to breathe. Okay. I think you are so tense right now. I'm feeling a lot of tension. So definitely breathe, relax, and take time for yourself and love yourself, and know that you are very, very special. And the card that I drew for you is Unicorn, and invite serendipity, if I could say that correctly. And what really, when I look at this card, I really look at the unicorn. So bring that magic into your life. And you can do that by breathing, relaxing, and loving yourself.
Aww, I love that. I love that. Who's next? Kelly? Kelly.
Oh, me.
Kelly. Oh, me. Hello, Miss Kelly. I got you. So, Miss Kelly, I'm pulling double cards today just because I know so many people in here and they've lost people. So I just want to pull a card for the people you lost and then a card for you. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And so, and you know who this is going to be from. So with a big J, but it says, don't be afraid. So your message today is not to be afraid of what's yet to come, right? Because I know life can be uncertain, and we don't always know if we're making the right decisions, and we don't always know if we're coming or going, and we don't always know. But I just think the universe has a way of putting us on the right path and making the decisions for us, even when we make the wrong ones, right? So that's why things don't work out sometimes, because the universe is trying to tell you, nope, that wasn't the right way to go. So let me correct you and put you on the right course. So just know, don't be afraid to make these tough decisions that you're making right now. For you, from your guides, it's a time of acceptance, right? So you got the acceptance card. It's just a time of being a place of acceptance for what is and what will be. You've been through a lot. There's a lot of trauma, but I think when you finally get to a place of acceptance and moving past that and through the grief process and moving on, and then kind of just surrendering to what's not working and moving through it and forward and choosing you, quite honestly, is what you probably need to do, is to start choosing you and your happiness. That I think things are going to start to get better. I know it's been a rough year and a half, 2 years, I think it's been, but promise it's going to get better. You're at the end of it. And I just feel like this is your year to sift through all the things that are no longer serving you. All right. And then coming out on the other side. So I'm going to tell you good luck, and I love you so much. All right. Who's next?
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and reinforce that message, because the card that I pulled is the Rhodochrosite card, which it says, be gentle with yourself. You've been through a lot and need time to heal and recover. So I feel like right now it's okay for you to take that time and say, I'm taking this time for me, and to just focus on you.
Absolutely. And what I'm feeling from your energy is you are a confident girl, and in a different way. And you need to use that confidence to get through everything. So just radiate with that confidence. And whenever you show people that you're confident, that's when you're going to be very powerful. And you've got to remember to have the faith. Okay. And the card that I drew is to be authentic. So again, if you use that confidence and show people how confident you really are, you're showing them your true self.
Absolutely. Good job, guys. Who's next? I'll let you decide, Cass.
All right.
I would say Judy.
I'm going to go ahead and drink and say
drink.
Cheers.
Let's drink while Cassie's looking. I have coffee tonight. I'm sorry. I missed the memo.
Let's go to Megan.
Megan.
Open for any messages.
All right, Megan. Let's see. I'm going to pull one of my cards, Megan, for you, and we'll go and see what it says. So I got the compassion card for you, Megan. And anytime I get this compassion card, it's about having compassion for yourself, having forgiveness for yourself. I think we're all on this journey on earth, and it's not always easy, but we kind of have to give ourselves a break, and we have to take care of ourselves before we can take care of anybody else. So my thing to you would be to, it's a theme tonight, put yourself first, take care of you, do your own healing, make yourself better. If you think about this, and I teach this a lot, life is about vibration, and like attracts like. So if you're sitting at a really low vibration, you're going to attract things of a lower vibration, right? Your car breaking down, things not going right at work, things like that nature, it can be low. But as you work on yourself and you start to raise your vibration and you get to a place of happiness, then you start attracting really great things in life. So if I could tell you anything, is to love yourself more, do some healing, and to raise your vibration, and everything else will work out. Next.
And I'm just again with the cards, I'm going to reinforce that because the Malachite is what came through, and again, we are pulling cards that are focusing tonight on the heart chakra and healing, and so what it does say is there is a positive shift in your flow. So I do feel like just the more time you actually spend to take care of yourself, you're going to start to feel that positive shift take place. And with that, you're going to be able to
we could go look at Kelly. Kelly wrote, P.S. that made me tear up. I'm fine. Everything's fine. I love her.
Okay, so Megan, and I'm glad, it's so interesting. And Spirit, you can tell Spirit is here just working through us, because what Cassie said about your heart chakra, because I was really feeling a lot of love from you, that you have so much love to give, that you give to others. Your heart chakra is opening up. Okay. But sometimes when you have that much love and that much give, you're going to wear yourself out. It's like, a candle burning at both ends, right? Mm-hmm. So really take self-care of yourself and make sure you keep some of that love to yourself. And you are a very intuitive person. So I found a card, or pulled a card for you that said, follow your intuition. Okay. And because you are such love, you are very empathetic and very intuitive. So definitely follow that.
Yay. Yeah. Next, we get Judy in. She could use her mama, and I pulled a card for her.
Oh,
Judy
Hunt?
Judy Webster Hunt. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm open to hear from anyone. So, and then you said that I could use my mom, and I pulled a card, and it says, I will always point you in the right direction. So even though physically our loved ones aren't here anymore, they are still working for you on the other side. They are still just a thought away. And I truly believe that they try to help guide us, right, and point us in the right direction all the time. But I think your mom, if she's in spirit, would just want you to know that just because we're gone doesn't mean you don't have to be joyful, right? You're still here. You're still on this planet. You're still on this earth. You're still living life, and joy is a God-given right. So it's okay to be happy. And it's okay to choose you. It's okay to find peace within yourself and around others. So I don't want you to give up, but I do want you to start looking for the signs from her. I just want you to be in a place of complete awareness all the time, because they want to talk to us, right? So really quick, ladies, how does spirit speak? What do they do? What kind of signs do they send? What can people watch for?
images?
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, images, like if you think about when you talk to spirit, say, can you give me a sign by showing me butterflies? Well, you may not see real butterfly, like Cassie was saying, you may see an image in a magazine or on TV, all these butterflies. So, and you may not only see it, but sometimes you're going to feel it. Sometimes they can touch your shoulder. And sometimes you smell the smoke. So there's different things, like if your dad smoked a lot or if your mom wore a lot of perfume, you will smell it.
Yeah. My dad leaves me dimes. So I keep a mason jar with all the dimes that I find, right? And that's just my reminder of how much he's around. So many things. Dragonflies can be a sign, but I would say if you don't have a sign for her yet, establish one, right? Like right now, I just saw the dragonfly sitting here on my desk. Just say, Mom, I want to see dragonflies, right? And then watch how much dragonflies will start to appear for you, right? And like you said, she just said, I smell Chantilly perfume sometimes. So she's there, right? She's trying to get your attention in all the ways that she knows. And I know we have a void of their physical body, but it can be super magical to have a connection with them in spirit as well. So I would just encourage you to talk to her every day still, to try to connect with her. Like she's still very, very much around. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Anything to add?
Yes, I do. So Judy, what I really feel like if you have put up a brick wall around yourself so that others cannot touch you, emotionally or get close to you. So what you need to do, is break down that wall, right? And the one thing that you can do to help break down that wall is work with your own energy. Bring it up. You'll feel more empowered. So, and when I say work with energy, you could turn on music and dance around like a fool. But just anything that makes you feel good. But you need to break down the wall and know things are going to be okay. So again, I drew the card, live in the present. And I was really being drawn to energy in the picture. And that's what you really need to work on so you can break down that wall.
Yay. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Do we have one last one we can do really quickly?
Well, the card that I pulled for Judy was spiritual protect. It's a charoite, and it's spiritual protection, and it's you are. And so with this one, I feel like the message is you are already being watched over and protected, physically, emotionally, and energetically. And so like your angels and your guides are there looking out for you. So it's okay. So it's like, as they're talking about letting your boundaries down a little bit and letting people in, I feel like right now, like especially right now, your team is like, we got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we're not going to let anything happen when you do that.
Right.
Yay.
Absolutely.
All right. One last one. Diana Brooke. Dina. I don't. Sorry if I butchered that.
Yeah.
Dina Brooke. Yeah. All right. I pulled 2 cards for you. One from Spirit, just to let you know I'm standing right here next to you, that you're never alone. I feel like I need to tell you that. Even if it's just your spirit team, you're never, ever truly alone, that you are being surrounded by unconditional love at all times. So when you feel alone, I just want you to remember you're never truly alone. And then the card for you that I pulled is silence. It's time to quiet the mind so you can hear the soul. I feel like you have so much going on and so many balls in the air that sometimes you just got to take a step back and evaluate. And so if I could tell you anything, it'd be to either journal, to meditate, just to kind of quiet the mind down just a little bit so that you can like hear what your soul's trying to tell you, hear the direction your soul's trying to push you in. All right. Meditation, journaling, that's what I would prescribe for you. Next.
Oh, you want me to? Okay. We're all talking at the same time because we got
stuff to say.
Go ahead, Cassie. Go ahead.
Okay. So I pulled the card Garnet, and the message with this card is it's time to release your physical and energetic toxins in your life. And again, the feeling that I get with this card is to really be focusing. Like if you actually look at the card, the woman is like holding her hands like this. So I do feel like that it really is. It's like using the time to focus on the inner work, releasing those things that don't serve you, so that way you can actually take care of yourself.
There you go. There you go.
No, it's very interesting tonight. Spirit just giving me words, adjectives for each person. Yeah. And what I'm really hearing from her is that she has a good sense of humor that is going to get her through anything. Okay. And I did draw the intuition card. It's so interesting. Once again, I do, shuffle them. But what I was really seeing on this card is this girl is kind of like listening. What I'm really feeling is you are not listening to your intuition. And they're saying, we keep telling you and you don't listen. So definitely listen to your intuition and to your spirit team, whatever they're telling you, and try to follow it and see what happens. But definitely use that humor to help relax yourself and get through life, because you've got some good humor.
That's right. Yeah. And with that, we are done with it. I'm going to pull one card for Vic just because he's my friend. I pulled a card. I'm here helping you. So I am here helping you. And we know who that's from. And I love you so much. And that's the end of our show. Michelle, thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Fun. Yeah. Yeah. Always fun. Always a pleasure. Where can people find you?
Okay, so they can go. I always tell people to go to my website, because that kind of gets you different directions where you want to go. So it's www.michellehendersonmedium.com.
There you go. So if anybody's interested in a reading, go look at her website. Her book is on Amazon. If you have any children who may be intuitive, it is a great book for the kiddos. And as for me, if you want to read it with me, I am the Red Couch Medium. I am on every social media platform under the Red Couch Medium, and you can always book with me. Cassie, where can people find you?
They can find me at Stargazers Unite, stargazersunite.com, all across the board. I help people with their brands, logos, and websites to help radiate their soul out into the world.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, here's to everybody. Until we see you guys the next time. Bye, everybody. Bye.